Gentlemen, it is Tuesday, which means we are going to hit you with some buy sells. We're going to give you 5 of each so that we can look into some of the players that we might be able to sell high on before they drop and buy low on before they go off. If you have any questions about trades, please drop those down below. I'll put my sleeper app on the screen as well, and you guys can reach out to me there. Now that we have survived the buy-pocalypse, it is time to get our rosters in the best possible position so that we can shoot for that playoff spot. If you are new to the channel, or if you haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate the support. It helps me out so much, enables me to do what I love so I can keep bringing you the content that you love. And without any further ado, let's get into Week 8's buy-sell. As a reminder, we're doing all of this in half-point PPR. We're going to start with my buys. These are players that I think are going to skyrocket up and finish the season strong. We're going to start with Calvin Ridley, and apparently he is going to be the next ship that I go down with. But hey, it worked for CeeDee Lamb. Hopefully it'll work here. Now there's no doubt, guys, that he has underperformed what we were hoping. He has not met expectations and overall just hasn't looked that great. That being said, he has too much talent to not perform for much longer. It's not like Atlanta is all of a sudden going to start playing some great defense and have to throw it less than 40 times a game, because that's what they're doing right now. Ridley is still averaging 10 targets a game. The production is going to come. If you have someone overperforming, like a Michael Pittman Jr., or if you're holding on hope for Adam Thielen, those are 2 players I would love to swap out to get me Calvin Ridley. If you have to sweeten the pot a little bit with someone like Pittman, I would do it to get that deal done. Next player up for me as a buy is Antonio Gibson. I've seen a lot of articles out there having him as a sell, trying to ship him off and get rid of him. And honestly, I don't really understand that. Now, I get it, the concern that is. There is a lack of overall workload, and it's terrifying. The emergence of J.D. McKissic certainly doesn't help. But here's my case. Gibson has been banged up, basically all year with a fractured shin. After Denver, Washington gets a bye, and presumably Gibson heals up some, and I think that's fair. Now, there's going to be risk, but we do not win championships without risk. His schedule down the stretch is absolutely epic once Week 12 hits. And this is the most important stretch in all of fantasy football. During that streak, he gets plus matchups in Seattle. He gets Vegas, Dallas twice, and Philly twice, which is a plus matchup, and 2 of those are in the fantasy playoffs and championship matches. So Gibson has RB1 upside when you are going to need it most. If the current owner is panicking because of his back-to-back duds, this is where we pounce on that opportunity. It might cost you another RB2 or perhaps a wide receiver 2. That's likely. However, it is a worthwhile exchange that could cash for you big. We move now to Darren Waller, who's going to end up missing back-to-back weeks because of his Week 7 injury and the bye for the Raiders in Week 8. Now, he has definitely performed under our expectations so far this year, but that makes him a perfect buy low opportunity. Starting in Week 9, Waller has plus matchups in 5 out of the next 6 weeks. He has 3 top 10 finishes and has never finished outside the top 20. That type of dependability at the hardest position to fill in fantasy may not come cheap. However, it is not going to be any cheaper than it is right now, and that is something you guys need to take advantage of. The next player on our list is Keenan Allen, who's averaging the same points per game as Marvin Jones Jr. and less than players like Christian Kirk and Michael Pittman Jr. That is certainly not what owners were expecting when they spent a premium pick on him. Now, with Mike Williams' knee not at 100% right now, and we also know that he has an injury history, and Allen's track record, I am going to bet on that second half resurgent in a high-powered offense with a stud quarterback. Keenan is averaging almost 10 targets a game and is due for some positive touchdown regression as the season moves on. Amari Cooper straight up is something that I would definitely do for Keenan Allen, and if I had to add on a player to someone like Brandon Cooks to make that a deal, that is something I am doing as well. The last player on my buy list for week 8 is Chase Edmonds, who is banged up over the last couple weeks, but is now finally starting to get healthy. He is an RB1 in a high-powered offense and has shown big playability already. He should see plenty of positive game scripts moving forward, and he still doesn't have a touchdown, which is sneakily a good thing as the current running back 22. Some of those James Conner vulture scores are going to come his way eventually, and if you can move someone like Myles Gaskin or Melvin Gordon III for him, who are both higher than him right now, that is a steal for the stretch run. As we move to my cells, please keep the pitchforks and the torches in the closet, as this one may not be so easily received. My first player is DeAndre Hopkins, and I know. Nuke is probably the best wide receiver and the most talented one in the NFL right now. He's on an undefeated team with a high-octane passing attack and an MVP frontrunner as his quarterback. These are all facts. What is he doing here then? Fantasy football is about opportunities, and that is something that Hopkins has lacked this year, at least for the wide receiver 10 right now. His touchdown per game average is unsustainable, at least probably, as is his efficiency with the targets that he has, almost certainly. Nuke hasn't had one game with double-digit targets. Not one game with double-digit targets. If I can go get someone like Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, or an RB1 like Zeke or Najee Harris, I'm doing it. You're not selling him just to sell him, but if the right offer comes along, you gotta take it. Even if you have to add a little bit to make sure it gets done. We now move to Myles Gaskin, who apparently can't really go off unless he's on your bench. It is science. Or at least that is what owners are feeling like right now. You just don't know when or why the touches are going to come, and that is scary. Just like most of Miami's offense. If he sees opportunities consistently, yeah, sure, he can definitely thrive. But there is nothing that has happened so far this season that would give us that hope. I would rather have Chase Edmonds, Javonte Williams, or even J.D. McKissick to Gaskin. And all of those players are deals that you could get done. Another tough sell for me is DJ Moore, who's been great this year. He's just significantly cooled off ever since CMC went down with that injury, and therefore the coverage being pulled from the defense hasn't been there to help him out. New York Sam is back, and that does not bode well for the rest of the season, even if or when CMC returns. As the current wide receiver 11, he probably still has a ton of value to other managers, and I would love to move him for someone like Scary Terry or Chris Godwin, both of who are currently ranked lower than he is. Next up is Khalil Herbert, and this has nothing to do with the player because he has been awesome over the last couple weeks. This is all about shelf life, and it is likely that Herbert is about to either run out or become significantly less valuable. While it may be unlikely that there are many buyers out there, there may be someone who needs a win this week and would be willing to give up a decent piece for him. If you can pick up someone like Hunter Renfrow, Corey Davis, or buy low on someone like AJ Dillon, that would make sense to me. Go back to the desert for my final sell on the video, and that is Christian Kirk. And as you can see, Arizona pass catchers are a theme. Now, Kirk has been great this year and is currently the wide receiver 20. He's been consistent over his last two, finishing in the top 20 in back-to-back weeks for the first time this year, and that's the problem. This is the perfect time to sell him for someone like Robert Woods or Jalen Waddle. At least you're gonna know when to play those guys and when the targets are going to come and be consistent. Hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions on trades or values, please drop those down below or reach out to me on the Sleeper app. I would love to engage and help walk you through some potential trade scenarios. If you're new or haven't done it yet, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. It helps me out a ton. This is Relentless Press. I'm your host, Abraham Opatz, and we'll see you next time.